Hi, welcome to Russ's Kitchen. I'm going to give you some really good tips on how to make British Indian restaurant curry. Now, it's different from traditional Indian recipes. They use slightly different techniques, and there's very good reason why they use these techniques. So I'm going to be telling you how to make a basic curry sauce or curry gravy. We're going to be looking at spice mix, and we're also going to be looking at garlic and ginger paste. Garlic and ginger paste is used throughout all Indian cooking, whether it be traditional or whether it's restaurant style. So the first thing we're going to have a look at is the garlic and ginger paste. I've already peeled our garlic and I'm about to peel our ginger. Again, using a ratio of approximately 3 garlic to 1 ginger. Don't be too precise about it because you can either do 2 to 1 or even 50-50. It's entirely up to you. So let's put our garlic cloves into a blender, and then taking a spoon we can just start to scrape the skin off our ginger. So let's just add a little bit of water to start off with. Put the lid on. And we're going to blitz that until we get a really nice smooth paste. You can always add a little bit of water as we go. Let's just check it. Just going to give that a little bit more, just to make sure that we haven't got any big lumps of either garlic or ginger stuck at the bottom. And that should be fine. Now again, what you need to do is don't make this every time you're going to need to make curry. Do a batch, put it into some ice cube molds, put it in the freezer, and then all you have to do is defrost it whenever you want. Or an alternative is you can actually put it into a freezer bag, make sure that that's nice and flat, put that into your freezer, and then you can just break off the amount that you need. And if you do it that way, you can actually put that straight into your curry as you're making it. If you're going to use it as ice cube molds, they do need to defrost. Let's make our curry sauce. Now, curry sauce or curry gravy in an Indian restaurant is the base sauce that they use pretty much for most of their curries that they're going to be making. The idea being that you've got a base to work with that's already made, it's quick. All you need to do is add in the various spices, meat, whatever else you're going to need. That's what gives each individual curry its distinct flavour. On its own, the base sauce is actually quite bland. It's basically pureed vegetables, onion, with a few spices mixed in, but it does make a huge difference and it gives a very unique Indian style flavour. So let's have a look at what we're going to be putting into this base sauce. I've got a red pepper, a tomato, a couple of onions. Spice wise, we're going to be using half a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of ground coriander, half a teaspoon of paprika, a quarter teaspoon of turmeric, and a quarter teaspoon of ground fenugreek. I'm going to finely chop the onion. If you haven't finely chopped an onion, or if you're not quite sure how to finely chop an onion, let me show you my technique. Peel the onion, cut it in half, leaving the root on. Then with a very sharp knife, and it's very important for anything like this, please use as sharp a knife as you can. Be very careful. What I'm going to do is cut into the onion as far up to the root as I can. Quite a few strokes. And then again, being very, very careful with this sharp knife, I'm going to cut horizontally into the onion. If you've got a really big onion, you might be able to get 2 slices into that, but this size onion, 1 horizontal slice is perfectly enough. And then all we have to do is cut very gently, going down across. Make sure your fingers are well out of the way. You don't have to be quick. You'll see TV chefs doing this at an incredible speed. Don't worry about it, they've been doing it for absolutely years. Do what you feel comfortable doing. And there, as simple as that, finely chopped onion. I'm now going to do the rest of them. Onto our red pepper. I'm just going to roughly cut this. It doesn't need to be anything special. And the tomato I'm going to de-seed, and again cut that up fairly roughly. Now that we've got everything chopped up, I've got a medium-sized saucepan on a medium to high heat. I'm going to go and put about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil into the pan. That's going to heat up pretty quick. And then I'm going to add the onion. And also the red pepper. Turn the heat down a little bit on that and give it a mix round. And what we're looking for is for those onion and peppers to get nice and soft, but what we don't want to see is any brown colouring if we can help it on the onion. Just need to soften it down, and that's probably going to take about 5 minutes. Let's put in the rest of our ingredients to our onion and pepper mixture, which is already now nice and soft. So now we go in with all our wonderful spices. So we're going to have paprika, cumin, ground coriander, turmeric, and when you add fenugreek, something really, really amazing happens. Straight away, once we've added that, we're going to start to smell suddenly like an Indian restaurant curry house. Incredible. When you put in dry spices, always add just a little bit of water initially, just to help them cook. Don't let ground spices cook on their own. Mix that round. Add in our garlic and ginger paste. Again, give that a good mix. And trust me, the smell is now absolutely incredible. So now that's all mixed together, we're going to add in a little bit more water, just so it covers all the ingredients. Turn the heat up slightly, and we're going to let that cook down and reduce. Now once it's reduced by about half, I'm going to take it off the heat and we're going to transfer that into a food processor. You could always just take it off the heat and use a hand mix, doesn't really matter, it's entirely up to you. Food processor's a lot easier. And then the process starts with adding more water so that we get a nice smooth curry sauce that's about the texture of full fat milk. So we've transferred our mixture into our food processor. I'm going to add in some water, just a little bit to start off with, and then we're going to blend this and keep adding water until we get that consistency that we are looking for, which, as I said, kind of like full fat milk. So let's start blending. And that's pretty much done. So we've now got our base sauce, our base curry gravy. Now, when you're making Indian food at home, you don't want to do this every time you're going to make a curry. So do a batch like this, divide it up, let it cool down, put it in the freezer, and then just defrost it whenever you want. So let's talk about the spice mix. Now, the spice mix in British Indian restaurants is quite a clever idea. It brings together essential spices into one mixture, which means that the chef doesn't have to keep measuring out and putting in individual spices. You can always add different spices or increase one of the spices if he wants to, but this means that he's got at his fingertips a spice mix that goes into pretty much every curry that you're going to get in a curry house. Let's have a look at what I use in my spice mix when I'm making British Indian recipes. So we've got 3 teaspoons of cumin, 3 teaspoons of coriander, 4 teaspoons of a basic curry powder. Now, you'll probably find that even in Indian restaurants they will use a generic curry powder, they're not going to make their own. 3 teaspoons of paprika, 3 teaspoons of turmeric, and a teaspoon of garam masala. Now, I've used teaspoons because I just make the quantity that I need, and I use like a jar like this, so I actually don't really need to make too much. You can make the quantities larger, make them smaller. As long as you've got those proportions together, you'll find that you'll get a really, really effective spice mix. Mix it all together and then you can use it in your curries, and really, really does make a difference. So there you go, that is my hints and tips, and hopefully a reasonably good explanation into the differences between traditional Indian recipes and British restaurant recipes. So there's the difference. Using curry sauce, using spice mix, give it a go, try it, and you find that you're going to be making restaurant style food in your own kitchen.